Hi, my name is Oscar and I'm going to explain my flight log. I'm going to explain my first leg of my flight plan, which is Ramona Airport to my Tapa climb. I know Ramona Airport and Jacumba. My Tapa climb is between Ramona Airport and Jacumba Airport. So my course is going to be right off the plotter by a straight line in between both airports. I'll have both the arrows facing up on my plotter, and then I would read 124. I got my projected winds from my winds aloft chart. Ontario was the closest airport to me, so my wind direction is 330 at 22 knots with a change of 4 in temperature. So here's my map. I get my plotter, and then I read 124 from both airports, there and there. Yeah, my winds aloft chart. Right there. I got my true airspeed for my Tapa climb by looking at the airspeed calibration chart. I got my indicated airspeed by looking at the maximum rate of climb chart, and I got my altitude for being 72 indicated airspeed. Then I looked at the airspeed calibration chart and my normal static and my POH, and converted indicated airspeed to calibrated airspeed and got 71, which is this chart. Then I put the pressure altitude into my E6B, which is 7,500, at temperature, which is standard +4. I look at the outside of my E6B, and then I get my true airspeed of 69. To get magnetic heading, I subtract 11 because that's the closest isogonic line, which is right here. So 116 minus 11 is your magnetic heading, your magnetic deviation of 105. 105 is in between 90 and 120 on the magnetic deviation card, which is this one. So I do some interpolation with the 105 magnetic heading. My steer compass is going to be at 101. I got that because I interpolated 86 and 117 from steer because my magnetic heading is in between 90 and 120 degrees. So I add both steer compass readings and I divide by 2, which will get me 101. Next, I find my ground speed. I just follow the yellow brick road on my E6B, and I get my ground speed to be 88. To get those numbers, all I need is the information from the Tapa climb. I just need to know my altitude and how to interpolate ground speed. Since I know my altitude is 7,500 and my climb data is 430 feet per minute, which I wrote down right here, which I got from this chart. I do the math and it will take me about 18 minutes to get to altitude. So since I know that my ground speed is 88, I do some more math and I find that the distance traveled is 26.46 miles, which I round up to 26.5. So on it takes me 18 minutes to cover 26.5 miles, which would be at my Tapa climb. Which if I go back to my chart, 26.5 out of my whole flight would be right here. So now my 6 questions. I wrote them down, so I'm going to be reading them off the paper. What considerations did I have to make for weight and balance? I used 9 gallons to fly, so I just put a little bit extra so I could have some emergency. What is my takeoff weight? My takeoff weight is 2,514. My takeoff distance is 1,949, and to clear a 50-foot obstacle, It is 3,517. Here's my work. My winds on takeoff is 260 at 9 knots. My headwind is 8.86. My crosswind is 1.56. I got my winds from takeoff. It was given to me on the chart. And to get my headwind, I use this equation. Headwind is velocity times the wind direction minus the heading, which is 260 and 320. So headwind will be 8.86 and crosswind will be 1.56. For 5, my landing distance for 3,500 feet is 1,337 feet. To cover a 50-foot obstacle is 3,830 feet. My winds at landing, my heading and crosswind. My winds at landing are at 260 at 18 knots. My headwind is 9 knots. My crosswind is 15.58 knots. My true airspeed for 7,500 feet is 114 knots. At 3,500 feet, it is 110 knots. My ground speed for 7,500 feet is 133 knots. My true airspeed for 3,500 feet is 110 knots. My true airspeed, my ground speed is 112 knots. And that is my fuel requirements. I use 9, but I have 12 for 3 in emergency. And that is my flight plan. Thank you.